نعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. Indeed, all praise is due to Allah, and as such we should praise Him. We should seek His help from the evil which is within ourselves and the evil which results from our deeds. For whosoever Allah has guided, none can misguide, and whomsoever Allah has allowed to go astray, none can guide. And I bear witness that there is no God worthy of worship but Allah, and that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is the last messenger of Allah. إن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله, the most truthful form of speech is the book of Allah. وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم, and the best source of guidance was the guidance brought by Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. وشر الأمور محدثاتها, and the worst of all affairs are the innovations in religion. فإن كل محدثة بدعة, all innovation in religion is cursed in religion. Meaning, there is no such thing as bid'ah hasana in religion. There is no good bid'ah in religion. There is good bid'ah in worldly affairs, developing microphone systems, air conditioning, architecture. All of that is good. Good bid'ah is there. But in religion, there is no good bid'ah. All bid'ah, as the Prophet said, kullu bid'atin dalalah. All innovation in religion is misguidance. No matter how good it sounds, how reasonable it seems, how attractive it is made, it is all misguidance. وَكُلُّ ضَلَالَةٍ فِي النَّارِ, and all misguidance leads ultimately to the hellfire. Why did I stress this issue of good bid'ah and bad bid'ah? Because we are entering into a period where there is a bid'ah, which is bid'ah dalala, which the Muslim world as a whole engages in. Countries have made it national holidays. Even in countries which are not Muslim, the Muslims have gotten the right to celebrate it as one of their national holidays. What is that holiday? The Mawlid. The Mawlid. Celebrating the birthday of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Mawlid al-Nabi. Because Mawlid just means birth. This practice has been defended, has been argued for from a variety of different ways. On one hand, some people say, well, some leading scholars have supported it. Imam al-Nawawi, author of the 40 hadith, which second most authentic collection of hadith. He wrote a book in support of it. So there's Imam Nawawi, big scholar, according to authority. Others say, well, the whole Muslim world does it. Only those who oppose it, they're a small group. Wahhabis. Put a name on them. The Wahhabis. These are the ones who oppose celebrating the birthday of the Prophet. Others say, well, it is our way of showing our love for the Prophet ﷺ. Is that bad? To demonstrate our love of the Prophet ﷺ, is that a bad thing? Making it seem good. Who can say it's bad to love the Prophet ﷺ? And some may even take verses from the Quran and say, well, this verse indicates it. One occasion, somebody told me, when in explaining about the Mawlid, he said that there is no evidence from the Quran and Sunnah to support it. The person said, no, there's a verse in the Quran. So I don't know, please tell me. I'd like to learn this verse. He said, it's the verse, إِنَّ اللَّهَ وَمَلَائِكَتَهُ يُصَلُّونَ عَلَى النَّبِيِّ يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا صَلُّوا عَلَيْهِ وَسَلِّمُوا تَسْلِيمًا. So when we hear it, so, what is the response to all of this? The first response is historical. Just look at this. What day was Prophet Muhammad ﷺ born on? The 12th of Bilal? No. We have no proof that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was born on the 12th of Bilal. How's that? Everybody knows that. Oh, they don't. If you go to the authorities, let's call on the authorities, the historians, and ask them what is the proof for the date of birth of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, and they will tell you there is no proof. We don't know when he was born. We know that he died on the 12th of Rabiul Awwal. That we know. That is certain. But that he was born on the same day that he died, we have no proof of that. Just as we don't know when Prophet Isa, the prophet who came before him, was born. It was always the 25th of December. What he knows is the 25th of December. We all celebrate, the whole world celebrates it on the 25th of December. I say, go back to the history, ask the historians. Yes, the historians tell us. We don't know what day Prophet Isa was born on. Allah hid the date. That's why we don't know, because Allah hid it. And that is why, for 300 years after the time of Prophet Isa, after Allah lifted him up, for 300 years, no birthday for Prophet Isa was celebrated. They knew then it was unknown what day he was born. And also, they knew celebrate his birthday. Abraham didn't celebrate his birthday. David didn't celebrate his birthday. None of the prophets celebrated their birthday. So they knew it was a pagan practice. But by the 4th century, when Christianity had become so innovative that it was virtually indistinguishable from the other pagan religions, then a monk claimed that the birth of the Prophet Isa was on the 23rd of December. Some say he saw it in a dream. Anyway, that belief spread. And there are a whole bunch of issues behind, when you look into the historical significance of the 25th of December, that's a whole other story. But, point to note that the birth date of Prophet Isa was hidden by Allah. The teachings of Prophet Isa were innovative. Religious innovation crept in on the teachings until the religion became indistinguishable from other pagan religions which existed in the world. Instead of worshiping the God of Jesus, people worship Jesus as God. That's where they ended up. Innovation took them to the point where instead of worshiping the God who Jesus worshipped, they began to worship Jesus as God. God incarnate, as they call it, meaning God having become a man. That is the consequence of innovation in religion. And that is why Prophet Muhammad was so severe in his warnings against innovation in religion. So many hadith. The Sahaba knew it. So they feared innovation. Even in some things that we might think, why would they fear it here? The collection of the Quran. Collection of the Quran into one text. When Umar ibn al-Khattab suggested it to Abu Bakr, what was Abu Bakr's first response? How can I do this? Prophet Muhammad didn't do it. Innovation. This is what he feared. But with Umar ibn al-Khattab talking with him, reasoning with him, showing him that the Prophet had instructed people to write it down for what purpose? To preserve it. The amount of written material was limited at that time, so different people wrote here, there, and everywhere. So to bring it all together, rewrite it up, one authoritative text, this is the preservation, this is the completion of what the Prophet ﷺ began. So they convinced him. Allah refers to the Quran, ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ. This is the book in which there is no doubt. The book. So Allah calls it a book. So, okay. So that was the Sahaba. So when we come to the birthday of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and we look at the evidence, we find no evidence to establish the 12th of Rabi al-Awwal as the date of birth of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In fact, if you look at the statements of the historians, they have mentioned 6 or 8 different dates, possible dates. Maybe it was this day, maybe it was that day, maybe it was this other day. All around the year. But the 12th became popular because the first people who began to celebrate the birthday of the Prophet ﷺ began it on the 12th. And who were the notable first? Our brothers, the Shiites. They were the ones who began it. They began it in Egypt, in the Fatimid state of Egypt. This is where they began it. It was begun, actually, even earlier than that, among Sunni Muslims too. But it was individual. It didn't take on state character. Sufis, in one of the provinces in the area of Iran, did it there. The rulers did it, but it was limited. In the case of the Shiites of Egypt, it was a national, for the Shiite empire, it was the day of national celebration. And from there, people rationalized it until it became the norm as it has become. So, the first hurdle, it stumbles. If we don't know the day that he was born, how can we celebrate his birthday? That's the big question. So no matter what arguments a person brings after that, well, you know, it is love of the Prophet, it is this, it is that, it is the other, and you say, what day? Okay, we accept all of these other things. Wonderful to love the Prophet, show our love. Okay, what day? Give us the real day. Because if we're doing it on other than the real day, then it's wrong. It can't be right. If we're celebrating it on the 12th of Rabiul Awwal, and he was born on the 12th of Ramadan, how can it be right? We're missing it. It's wrong. It's like doing Hajj, instead of being on the 8th of the Hijjah, we decided to do it on the 8th of Muharram. Is that okay? Good intentions? Doesn't work. So from a historical point of view, that celebration is wrong. Can never be right. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us correct knowledge of the religion, to be able to worship Him as He deserves to be worshipped, to be able to follow His messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as he deserves to be followed. I ask Allah to plant our feet firmly in the Quran and the Sunnah, and to live our lives in accordance with that guidance, as there is no guidance beyond that guidance. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين من كل ذنب فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. I ask Allah to forgive myself and yourselves, and to ask His forgiveness, telling you to ask His forgiveness, as none can forgive sins except Him. Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalam ala Rasulillah. All praises be to Allah, and may Allah's peace and blessings be on the last messenger of Allah. As we said, the arguments in defense of bid'ah have no weight when we look at the evidences. Those who say, scholar so-and-so said, okay, didn't say anything. We say, Imam Abu Hanifa, Imam Malik, Imam Shafi'i, Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal. Did they give it the okay? Did they celebrate? No. Their non-celebration is evidence that it is not to be done. And each person that is mentioned, there are greater scholars than them in the previous generations who didn't. The other argument of love of the Prophet, we have to ask, did the Sahaba love the Prophet ﷺ less than we did? They who used to fight over the remaining water left when he was making wudu, he made it from a container, a bowl, they would scrabble amongst each other. I mean, good fighting, not fighting, just, I want it, let me have some. To get the leftover water which dripped from his fingers when he made it. Do they or did they love him less? No. They loved him more. They were with him. And they didn't celebrate his birthday. So the argument of love is fallacious. It has no basis. In fact, when Allah talked about love in the Quran, He clarified that love has its indicators. And the most important indicator of love is obedience. That's the most powerful indicator, external indicator of love, obedience. So he said, إِن كُنتُمْ تُحِبُّونَ اللَّهَ فَاتَّبِعُونِي يُحْبِبْكُمُ اللَّهُ. If it is that you love Allah, then follow the messenger of Allah, and Allah will love you. Follow the messenger of Allah, and Allah will love you. So if it is about love of the Prophet, then we show our love for him by following what he has instructed. The more conscientious and eager we are to apply the teachings that he taught, is the greater our love is, the indicator of the greater our love for him. So, the arguments of love fall flat when we look at the practice of most of those who celebrate the Prophet's birthday. We don't see in their lives obedience to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In fact, what we see is mass disobedience. Mass disobedience. So, arguments of love are weak arguments. The proper way to show love is to follow his way. Follow what he said. Follow what he did. He used to fast Mondays and Thursdays. Every Monday and Thursday. This was his practice. To fast Mondays and Thursdays. And when he was asked about fasting on Monday, he said, among the reasons why he fasted on Monday he gave a number of different reasons. But among those reasons, he said, it was the day on which I was born. It was the day on which Prophet Muhammad was born. Monday. So how did he commemorate it? By fasting. How do people do it today? By everything but fasting. So if we really love him, we want to show our love and, obedience, etc., fast every Monday. Don't put it one day in a year, so you can show your real love of God. One day in the year and the rest of the year, you show your hatred for him in your disobedience. Every Monday, fast. That's what he did. So, of course, people might fast Monday. It requires effort. Real love requires effort. You don't want to do it. And this is one of the things that the scholars of the past have pointed out, that whenever a bid'ah arises, a sunnah dies. When a bid'ah is born, a sunnah dies. So the sunnah of fasting on Mondays is dead. Only a few people do it. So the fact that the vast majority of the Muslim world doesn't fast on Mondays, is that proof of anything? The only proof it is that the sunnah is dead amongst them. So drawing on the huge numbers of Muslims today who celebrate the Prophet's birthday the way that they do, singing, processions, party, food, that is not proof of anything. It is only proof of misguidance. It's clear evidence of misguidance. So, the last argument, the argument from the Quran, where the people say, "Inna Allah wa malaikatahu yusalluna 'alan nabi." Indeed, Allah and the angels pray for the Prophet, or praise the Prophet, seek peace for the Prophet. That this is proof for celebrating his birthday. We again ask, did the Sahaba understand that? This understanding that you have, that this verse, or if you bring a hadith, this understanding that this man celebrating the birthday of the Prophet, did the Sahaba understand that? If they say no, the Sahaba didn't understand it, then what are they saying? We understand from the Quran more. We understand the Quran more than the companions of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That is blasphemy. That is heresy. And if they said yes, they did understand it, but they didn't do it, then we ask them, what does that mean? The Sahaba understood that they should celebrate the Prophet's birthday and they didn't? As a group, they all didn't? What is that saying? That they disobeyed the Prophet? No. What's that? Is that serious? That's saying they all went astray. So that argument of that understanding is a false argument. It has no basis. And this is how we judge each and every one of these various innovations that have crept in amongst Muslims today. When people ثم الذين يلونهم, then those who follow them, ثم الذين يلونهم, then those who follow them. The first three generations of Islam. The time of the Sahaba, the time of the Tabi'in, the time of the Tabi'in as the great imams. That is the era which is the blessed era in terms of understanding Islam. So, when we look at all of this, we can only conclude that celebrating the Prophet's birthday is misguidance, dalala, misguidance. No matter what people's intentions are, no matter how they do it, because some people say, okay, we just gather and we read from the Sirah and we, good thing, it's good to read from the Sirah. We remember the Prophet's life, we have some lectures on the life of the Prophet. These are all good things. But to do it on the 12th of Rabi'ul Awwal, a day whose origin is unknown. It is not the day of the birth of the Prophet, not established. While claiming it is that day, this is misguidance. It is misguidance. We are misguiding people. So, we have entered into this month, Rabi'ul Awwal, and it is a month that reminds us of the importance of sticking to the Sunnah. And that change will not take place in the Muslim Ummah until they go back to holding firm to the Quran and the Sunnah. This is the only way. As Imam Malik has said, that the latter part of the Ummah will not be rectified except by what rectified the first part. What gave the first generation success? What corrected their affairs? Put them on the right path? That is the only way for us to achieve that success in later generations. It is going back to that way. As the Prophet Muhammad said, تَرَكْتُ فِيكُمْ أَمْرَيْنِ إِن تَمَسَّكْتُمْ بِهِمَا لَن تَضِلُّوا. I've left you with two things. If you hold on firmly to them, you will never go astray. Kitabullah wa sunnati. Book of Allah and my sunnah. So I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bring us back to his book and the sunnah of his messenger. To hold on firmly to it and to make it the guide for our lives. We thank Allah that he has left this source of guidance for us and for the generations that will come after us. And we ask Allah to give us the strength and the courage to return back to it and to hold on firmly to it. We ask Allah to rectify the affairs of the Ummah, to protect our brothers and sisters in Egypt, Tunisia, and other countries where they're facing difficulty, Afghanistan, Chechnya, etc. We ask Allah to help them find their way back to the Quran and the Sunnah and to rectify their affairs as we ask to rectify ours. We ask Allah to protect our children, the generation to come, and to give us the tawfiq to establish the institutions to teach them Islam. We ask